ID Software did something that not many game developers are doing anymore. Creating and pouring out 3 different games in under 10 years, fully focused on an immersive single-player first-person shooter campaign. I can hear you all say, hold up MV, what do you mean? Is it weird for developers to drop 3 games in 10 years? True, maybe, but not in the way Doom is handled since 2016. ID Software created 3 vastly different games and still staying true to the core of Doom. Back when Doom released in 2016, fans absolutely loved the reboot of the franchise. It was grounded with a huge Doom signature, fast-paced, demon slashing, chaotic, and a very straightforward single-player first-person shooter game. Just like a Doom game should be. It cared less about throwing the story in your face with lengthy cutscenes and story-driven narratives. Gameplay was and is first, and ID Software smashed it out of the ballpark. The game was insanely good, and if you really cared about the backstory and the narrative, gamers could read the codex files spread around in the levels. It took me roughly until the 3rd playthrough before I finally gave the codex file a look and absorbed the full story. For me, Doom 2016 felt like everything a modern day Doom game should be, while staying true to the source and historical material. It was Doom in all its glory. The variety in weapons, the variety in enemies, and the downright clever level design made 2016 an instant classic. The game leaned more on plain fun, and strategy, even more so in later levels, became more absent. Nevertheless, and despite an absence of real strategy, the game is so much fun and rewarding when pushing through the levels and just destroying demons. Doom did what Doom should do: bring fun in inflicting pain to demons. ID Software could have easily taken this game, kept it intact, and merely added some weapons, enemies, maybe expand a bit on the story. But they didn't. With Doom Eternal they pushed more on strategy. It did divide the community a bit because it brought more depth in how to encounter certain enemies. The movement was also overhauled, brought more speed, more leveling, jumping and aerial attacks. Sometimes this strategy led to some frustration because certain enemies could be best encountered with certain ammunition. If you were unaware or forgot a bit about the strategy, you could easily be left with less effective weapons because your ammo was absent for the right weapons. Nevertheless, the game impressed. It cranked up the capital C in chaos to sometimes insane levels, especially when playing on the highest nightmare difficulty settings. They intelligently brought a diversity in weapons, levels and ways to play it. I highly recommend everyone to make different playthrough sessions, but use different weapon mods. It makes your experience different and you get a different feel on enemy reactions to your attacks. The biggest fun is also my biggest criticism for Doom Eternal. The glory kills cams are extremely rewarding, but also make the game a bit goofy at times. Ripping an eye out of an enemy feels rewarding, but after a few times it serves more as a timeout and impacts the overall flow of the game. In many times I used the glory kills to quickly redefine my strategy, catch my breath, but is it really what we want from a Doom game? I appreciate it's a matter of taste. Most of the glory kills are satisfying and do bring a smile to my face of the gore. Although not removed entirely from Doom the Dark Ages, they've altered it and toned it down. It's a matter of taste, as I said, and I will leave it up to your preferences, obviously, for a real verdict on this. But now, enter Doom the Dark Ages. From the moment you boot up the game, it's immediately clear we're dealing with a Doom game. The rock-driven, atmospheric music, the menu structure and the difficulty settings. It's all there and it brought a smile to my face. What is worth noticing is the technical infrastructure of the game. Now, I'm not a digital foundry, nor do I have the desire to even try it, but I cannot talk about Doom the Dark Ages without praising the upgraded ID Tech engine. Where Doom Eternal used ID Tech 7, Doom the Dark Ages uses the ID Tech 8. It gives the developer way more flexibility in the developing process, but also way more tools to create a visual package that is a noticeable upgrade from Doom Eternal. Again, I'm not here to talk about volumetric lighting, queue maps, and other technical details, but the game is a feast for the eye. I appreciate that the more casual gamer will praise the visual presentation but will overlook the details of it. The more hardcore gamers, and even the nerds like me, will catch themselves just standing around sometimes and absorb the surroundings and overall package that is delivered. The lighting, ray tracing, destructible environments, the detail in the levels and effects are simply mind-blowing. What is worth noticing is that the environments are not static anymore. Where Doom Eternal is still free from the structure in the environment, with Doom the Dark Ages you will see that even grass is affected by the fighting sequences. Just shoot your gun against concrete, for example, and you will see that the bullets have impact and damages the walls. Although for the most it remains unnoticeable, it all contributes to a more realistic feeling of the entire experience. It is also worth mentioning that the game is overall less colorful than Doom 2016 and Eternal, but my educated guess is that it's reflected in the title Dark Ages. Makes perfect sense. Before we jump into the gameplay, I cannot ignore just a few sentences about the audio. Doom is well known for its audio, of course. It's essential and complementary to the experience overall and always has been. Although it does have the signature rock atmosphere, I found it a bit toned down when I first started playing. I discovered that in the menu settings the music is below 80% at first install. Something I only noticed halfway through the game. Just push it over 90% or maybe even put it on 100% and it gives the full audio experience a Doom game deserves. Well, let's talk gameplay and the experience of Doom the Dark Ages. It is noticeable that the first level, that this third installment, takes again a different route, and that in itself deserves praise. Not a lot of developers take the risk in changing the core gameplay 3 times and fully invest in a single player first person shooter experience. The game plays rock solid. It delivers the heaviness that you expect from the Doom Slayer. It's precise, chaotic at times, that one might expect from a Doom game. Every gun feels unique and the levels are designed beautifully to accommodate the massive increase of the enemies on the screen and how to encounter them. I particularly like the addition of the shield. It's both a melee weapon as it's a long distance throwable rocket. The parry you can make to stun enemies at the right time by bouncing the green attacks back at them feels great and gives timing an element in a chaotic environment. I also enjoy the cutscenes and cinematic story driven scenes. This is particularly new to Doom. Previous installments relied on gameplay first and the speed of it and pushed gamers to the codex files first and foremost. Though they are still there for background, they now added longer cutscenes to get people invested more in the story. It also calmed the pacing a bit and gives player the time to enjoy and relax and understand. I liked it, and for me it worked. If that's the case for you, it's a matter of taste. What I really did not like is the flying dragon and the big thing mag sections. I really found it dumb, repetitive, out of sync with the rest of the game, and on some occasion downright frustrating. But again, matter of taste. For me, it has no meaning to be in a Doom game. Lucky they're not the core main attraction and they're only devoted to a few sections. Wrapping up, Doom the Dark Ages is a hell of a lot of fun. You can see it is created with love, it shines technically, has ridiculously low loading times, and it's a true Doom game from a gameplay perspective. I do think that it's the weakest of the trilogy. But that does not mean it's a bad game by any means. The game sits comfortably on an 8 out of 10 for me, and I fully recommend you all to immerse yourself in some ridiculously fun Doom slaying hours. Either Doom 2016 or Doom Eternal are either 1 or 2, depending on what angle you look at them. The Dark Ages is not only the third installment, but also the third best game. It's not bad, just a little bit less good. Enjoy, peeps. Movement 6 out.
I can never rule as king, so long as you are the only one they fear.